Look, kids, Parliament! Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today what we have for you is kind of an itinerary for a first-time traveler to Europe, because a lot of people ask me, Mark, it's my first trip to Europe, where should I go, what should I do? And what we have is kind of like a 2-week trip for you, kind of planned out. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna fly into London, okay? And when you book your tickets, listen, you're gonna buy what we call a multi-city ticket. You're gonna fly into London, okay? Then from London, you'll take the train down to Paris, and then you're gonna fly to Prague with some cheap European airline like EasyJet, and then fly down to Rome and finish off the Eternal City, and then you fly back to the US or wherever you're going back to from Rome. Why do we do that? Because then you don't have to track all the way back, and you can save a travel day and use that as another day in Rome or Prague or whatever. Anyway, so our first stop is here in London. Yes, you can see Big Ben and Parliament. You can go to the British Museum, which is free, and see the Egyptian sarcophagi of the pharaohs, and you can see all the Greek things from the Acropolis and all kinds of stuff. Great museums throughout the city. The Tate Museum, the Tate Modern. You can go see the Globe Theatre, where they rebuilt it like Shakespeare's time. The Westminster Abbey, and see Poets Corner and see where Shakespeare is, and all kinds of things like that. There's tons of great stuff to see and do here. Going to the Tower of London and seeing the crown jewels and the White Tower and all those things. It's a quintessential thing for any tourist to do when they do come to Europe. And of course, you have the food here, and when you are here, what you want to make sure you're eating is head to the pubs and get some of the pub grub, steak and kidney pie, maybe have an English breakfast with, with eggs and beans and toast and blood sausage, okay? All kinds of good stuff. And the thing is, in London, you can actually experiment out. You can go and experiment in different things. They've got a great Chinatown here. There's people from all over Europe and all over the world that live here, and so they brought their cuisines as well. There's all kinds of great stuff. And of course, you got to start off one of your days here by seeing the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, exploring some of the different neighborhoods around here. I mean, it's a really cool city. But that's the first place we go to for a few days here. Now, if you're going to spend some extra time here, some easy day trips you could do from London. You can go to Hampton Court, which was, King Henry VIII's palace, which is really kind of a cool place to check out because they have all these people dressed up in period pieces telling you the stories and stuff like that. It's kind of a good compliment when you go to the Tower of London with those stories. Or an easy day trip there and back is with going to Cambridge, famous for the university town and stuff like that, and go punting there in the boats and stuff like that. It is kind of a cool thing. So you have that. Now the next place you want to go to is Paris. So we're going to go hop on the Channel or the Eurostar train, going under the English Channel and head into Paris. And now we're here in Paris. We've taken the Eurostar, we're down here in Paris, enjoying this beautiful city. And when you're gonna do your 2-week Europe trip and you wanna see the highlights of everything out there, Paris is obviously on the list. And if you've only got 3 days to be here, there's some certain things I really think you should do. Now, behind me you have the Louvre, okay? That's where the Mona Lisa is, Winged Victory, Venus de Milo, these kind of things. You have to go there. If you're gonna go to one museum in Paris, this is the one you should go to. And it will take, half a day. I mean, you can't see everything there, so make sure you see the big 3. And when you're at the Mona Lisa, turn around and see the Wedding at Cana and other great masterpieces that are there. Don't just run through. Take a little bit of time, but I know with 3 days you don't have a ton of time. But the Louvre is the one museum you should see. I would say the second museum you should see when you are here is the Musée d'Orsay. So if you want to see the Impressionists and the Impressionism and the Impressionist movement with Monets and Manets and these kind of things, you're going to do that. It's right over the river, down the way a bit. Very easy to do. Now, other things you can do when you're here. So the thing is, you can see Paris actually on the cheap, okay? Maybe you pay for this museum, but you can just walk around the town. Have dinner at a cafe outside and just people watch. Have a cafe and a brioche and a croissant or something, and you'll be wonderful just people watching here because it is great. And you can walk down the Champs-Élysées and see the shops there and see the Arc de Triomphe and walk underneath there. And you can go to the Eiffel Tower, which is just really right over there. I can totally see it from right here. You have these things you can go and see and enjoy outside without spending any money. And that's one of the great things about Paris is there's so many different districts around here that you don't just have to go to the tourist sites. You can stay in Montmartre and stay in that district and see Sacré-Cœur and walk around there in great restaurants. Or you can go to the Latin Quarter where the students are and things like that. Or you can walk around here and see things, and you go walk down to the Ile de Cite and you can go see Notre Dame. There's tons and tons of things to do and see when you are in Paris. One of the things I will say though is make sure you take the time to actually eat when you are here, because the 4 places we're kind of recommending on this trip, London, Paris, Prague, and Rome, Paris has the best food. So yes, you will have your croissant, or grab a baguette and some cheese and go enjoy a park and just people watch from there. Go have the canard, the duck when you're here, or have steak and fries. I mean, it's something as simple as that. The food here is fantastic. Make sure you are. Go to the boulangerie or the patisserie and get some bread and some tarts and stuff like that. And the eating experience is really great. Another thing you could do when you are here, let's say your first day, you get here in the morning, okay, we've seen the Louvre, we walked to Champs-Élysées, we saw the Arc de Triomphe, we went up the Eiffel Tower and did that. Our next day we did Musée d'Orsay, we saw the catacombs, and now we've got our third day. What should we do? You can take a day trip, and there's a lot of day trips around here, whether you go to Chartres to see the cathedral there, or you want to go to Gavarnie where Monet was. But what I recommend is go out to Versailles and go to the Palace of Versailles and go there and take the tour. Yes, there'll be tons of tourists there, and yes, there'll be tour guides that push you around, but it is still amazing to see the apartments and the gardens out there. It is well worth a day trip to go there. It is fantastic. So that's our 3 days in Paris. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to head to Prague, and now we're here in Prague for our third stop on our European adventure. And honestly, if you're your first time to Europe, you've got to come here, because that is the old town square with the astronomical clock over there, the church over there, and that's just one of the thousands of amazing photos you'll have when you come here, because Prague is gorgeous. Whether you're walking on Charles Bridge with the statues up there, looking at Castle Hill with St. Vitus Cathedral, wandering the Jewish section and seeing the Jewish cemetery and things like that, this city has so much wonderful things to see and do when you come here. And honestly, this wasn't destroyed during the war, so you have really original buildings, original beauty when you are here. And if you're looking for something to eat, grab the duck and dumplings, and also you've got to have the beer, because Czech beer is world famous because it is so good. And actually the Czechs drink more beer per capita than anybody else in the world, so join in with the people and really enjoy it. Now, after you go from here, let's head down to Rome to finish off our first time 2-week adventure in Europe. Bye from Prague. So now we're here in our fourth destination of Rome. You've had London with all the stuff English, and the Eiffel Tower in Paris, and a little bit of Central Europe, beer and meat and stuff like that in Prague. And now we're here in Rome, the Eternal City. And this is where you should finish your first trip to Europe, because it's got, yes, the Colosseum over there. You can go see the Vatican with the Vatican Museums and see the Sistine Chapel. There's so much history in this city that you can go see. And the thing is, they have great tourist infrastructure, plenty of hotels, tons of restaurants, tons of sites to see. The Villa Borghese, make sure you get a reservation to go see there. It is really great. And some advice for when you do come here to Rome, make sure if you want to go see the Colosseum, pre-book your ticket, because the lines can be pretty crazy. And if you think those lines are crazy, wait till you see the lines at the Vatican Museums. That is even more crazy to go in there, but you got to go in there and see it. What's cool is if you go to the Vatican to see St. Peter's, you just walk in through a metal detector and that part's free, so that's kind of cool. You go to Trevi Fountain and flip your coin in over your shoulder, so you guarantee you can come back again another time to Rome. There's so much great stuff here, and when you are in Rome, whether you're going to the Forum, the Colosseum, see the Roman history side of it, or more modern stuff, this city has got lots of neighborhoods and really great like vibe to it. So whenever you're exploring, literally go a few blocks off the tourist traps and the tourist way, and you'll be like in a whole other city, and you'll get to meet the locals, and they're fantastic when you're here, and it is just a great place. That's kind of my 4-city trip to Europe, because if it's your first time to Europe, you can't see everything. So I say, you're going to have, 2 weeks or 12 days or 10 days, something like this. This is something you can do, because you'll fly into London and you'll see the stuff there. Then you take the train down to Paris and see the sights there. Then you can fly, and there's tons of cheap airlines, EasyJet, Vueling, Ryanair, all kinds of stuff in Europe. And you can fly from Paris to Prague, and then fly from Prague down here to Rome, and then fly back to the US or Australia or wherever you got to go back to from here, because it gives you this great opportunity to see so much of the continent and get a really good kind of feel of a lot of different cultures when you are here. Because that's what's cool about coming to Europe. It's not one, there's not one Europe. It's not like when you go to the US, every mall is the same. Here it's a little bit different, and that is one thing I hope you learn from our videos and all these other things, that you're going to learn so much and meet so many new people and so many new cultures. It's just a great thing. Anyway, if you want to learn more, maybe some of the other itineraries, or 5 things you love and hate, or 10 things that'll shock you for pretty much all the cities on this list, check us out on our website at woltersworld.com. We're also on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You get the stuff. And have a great time. And I'll be honest with you, going to Europe is a great experience. If you're not sure if you should do it or not, I highly recommend that you do it, because it is awesome. So I'll say ciao from Roma. Bye.